Is this world even real? Are we living in a computer, guys? If my hand is real, why can my thumb do this? Tonight, we'll figure this out once and for all if we're living in a simulation. You're watching Conspiracy. In a world where nothing seems to be real and everybody is going banana nuts, you need someone to actually answer those questions to those things that you don't have an answer to because one guy says one thing and some other guy says another thing. My goal is to answer those questions. This is Conspiracy. All right, taking the side that we are not in a simulation is Miss Nichols. Miss Nichols, thank you for being on Conspiracy.
No problem. Love to be here.
All right, I want you to give your argument for why you think this is not a
Look, since the beginning of time,
Second.
man has tried to understand the true nature of the universe. We're getting closer, but it's a huge leap to say that this is a.
I'm sorry, Mr. Your time is up. But thank you, Mr. Nichols. We gotta just intro what we're doing, and then Mr. Brian, you have 10 seconds to give your side of the argument that this is a simulation. Is that correct, Mr. Brian?
Yes. First of all, thank you for having me on the show, Craig. I will say that
7 seconds.
There's more evidence that we are in a simulation than there isn't, and I'm excited.
All right, I'll turn in virtual reality myself, not in virtual reality myself.
Hey, Craig, if you, it'd be great if at some point you could stop having like when you the wrong answer screen of me, and then there was a as if.
Miss Nichols, get back up.
Yes, you don't have to raise your hand.
Because I don't have time to change that because I have a lot of work to do to bring everyone.
I don't know if you could just add that to maybe future episodes. You put that on your list to get rid of that.
I think it's fine.
I know you'd think it's fine. It's not.
All right, let's focus on the show and let's start with round one, you guys. All right, round one. Okay, call you guys.
All right, there was an experiment that has been done many times called the double slit experiment. Where it was proven by scientists that when we shoot subatomic particles through a double slit, if they're being observed, they act as a particle. And if they're not being observed, they turn into a wave, which means that our reality, the world we exist in, has been proven to be rendered only when we're observing it. And much like virtual reality goggles, those atoms that are not being observed, like behind us, are not rendered. So we basically are living in Minecraft.
That makes no sense. Mr. Nichols, your rebuttal.
Actually, I do think what he says makes sense, and I do think it's equally like all scientists. I think it's an amazing discovery.
You can't agree with Mr. Nichols.
We don't go.
We can't agree with him.
We don't take the leap that it means that there's virtual or that this is a simulation. Just like, you know, when way back on this planet, way back time ago, people used to believe that Apollo the god, because they couldn't understand night and the moon. So they're like, well, Apollo's grabbing the moon and setting it down and then bringing it back up at the moon at night, which is crazy, of course. So you don't make these leaps just because you don't understand the universe.
Counterpoint. That's a Miss Nichols counterpoint.
I was just trying to say that they knew the moon was there and they were trying to figure out what night and day was. And their explanation was that this god that they created was actually lifting and pulling it out of the sky because they made this crazy leap, just like you're making with the slit experiment.
Stop talking about the moon, you guys. That is not whether the moon is the conspiracy. There's definitely a moon, you guys.
Okay.
Mr. Brian, your point?
It is your background. I will say this. People
It's just green. It's just green back there.
From my point of view, it looks like the moon.
Yeah, it looks like the moon.
It's just a green wall, you guys. Quick reminder, 54221 smash them like buttons, and please get into arguments about this topic in the comments below, you guys. So please get into big fights about this topic in the comments below. It is good for our algorithms. Thanks, you guys. Guys.
Like if there was a simulation, would this be going this badly?
Point counter. But the moon is moving, Miss Nichols. You do agree with this?
Well, I believe the moon is set up in the sky, and no, it only looks like that because of the Earth's movements.
All right, that's the end of round one, making both very interesting points. Boy, things are really heating up on Craig Conspiracies. We're going to take a quick commercial break. We'll be right back with more Conspiracies.
Hey, Brian, all this talk about slits reminds me of the time Roman Polanski did a slit experiment in my hot tub. And we all know how that turned out, don't we?
Yeah.
He ended up spending his life chomping on snails in frog country. All right, do the ad. Who is it? My bookie.
All right,
Come
so
on, Brian.
This week, the show's brought to you by MyBookie. This football
That's right.
season, stop being a baby and place some bets on the game already with MyBookie. It couldn't be easier. With promos like weekly risk-free boosts, even if you've never bet on anything in your life, you can definitely handle this. With risk-free boosts, if your bet hits, you win big. If it doesn't, don't worry. MyBookie will give you a full refund.
Brian, you're eating that microphone like it's a goddamn cock in the bathroom. Bring it down a little bit. Finish the goddamn ad.
When you're ready to get started, just click the link in the show notes, sign up, and you're ready to bet.
That's right.
Use promo code KDS to claim a bonus that doubles your money on your very first deposit. You heard that right. Double your money with code KDS before you even place a bet. MyBookie.
You know what I gamble on, Brian?
What do you gamble on, Jack?
Cocaine, hoagies, and whores. Ah. All right, finish the
How
ad.
do you bet on a hoagie? What is it?
None of your business. Just finish it.
MyBookie Plus is the lock of the century. Bet on anything, anywhere, anytime, and make your season a winning season. Again, that's promo code KDS.
Let's get back to Craig's conspiracies, shall we?
Let's get into round two, you guys.
Round two.
All right, Mr. Brian, could you do round two?
All right. Well, it's another thing that another fact, a scientific fact, is that we physically never touch. No atoms can touch. They can't touch. So how is this a real world?
That makes no sense.
That makes no sense.
There's never been. I mean, we all know. It doesn't take a scientist to prove Mr. Nichols has never touched anything. But in fact, no atoms have
Nichols.
ever touched anything.
Point, counterpoint.
Look,
Happy
I
birthday.
deliver a low
Yeah.
blow at I deliver a low blow to Brian, but I don't know anything about his personal life.
Point, counterpoint.
There doesn't need to be a counterpoint there. Look, if atoms did touch and those broke through and touch each other, there would be nuclear explosions every time I blew my nose, which sometimes, it seems like it is a nuclear explosion.
Keep the jokes, please, Mr. No, this is a serious program. Please don't do jokes on Craig's birthday. All right. That's a pretty exciting round. Now let's we're gonna go to a quick break here. I actually don't have a quick break. Let's go to round three, you guys.
Round three, you guys.
All right. Well, I'll just say that it's just simple math. The fact that with our, we're very new to technology as a civilization. We're in our infancy.
The more you learn about.
Create.
Interesting point.
We've already been able to create virtual realities in our primordial technological state, which just makes me think, given the context and the scope of history and time, that there are civilizations that are post-human that have already evolved beyond this technology. And if there are multiple realities, odds are we're not in the base reality. We're in one of the other ones. What is going on?
No, chair, but
What is
my
happening?
chair is it's rolling too much, and I'm just trying to sit in it normally.
What do you mean it's rolling too much? What are you doing?
All right, Mr. Nichols, do you want to counter those points, Mr. Nichols?
Well, look, I mean, when you start talking about odds, how good is your science? Okay, the bottom line here is that just even if we assume, and we are assuming that someday in the future we've got enough technology to simulate a universe, then you have to make the enormous leap to say somebody's going to decide to do that, and we don't know that people will decide to do that. There may be many ethical arguments against doing such a thing, and morality and ethics at some point are human characteristics that do come into play. So, look, you might all sit there and go, "Oh, your argument's part of the simulation, dude." Come on.
No, but I will say I don't ever see ethics or morality leading humans towards any decision making at the top.
Okay, this is getting pretty boring. Let's do this real quick.
The boy with 1,000 voices.
All right, now last week I did my impression of Trump. Let's see a clip of that.
Right.
What a total disaster. What a total disaster the security was like. Just say an impression what we do, and I will do that voice.
Well, I'll start. I'll say Quentin Tarantino, if you could.
I'm now let's give somebody that people know instead of somebody that nobody knows what that is. Mr. Nichols.
What about the
I just don't think anybody else knows what that is.
well, maybe Brian has a suggestion. I'm trying to.
What about Ray Liotta?
All right, Karen. The fuck? This is Karen. Karen. That's fuck. The Karen. Just fucking chanting. Come on, Karen. All right, that's a good time. And now it's the boy with 1,000 voices. Next week we'll do another voice again.
The boy with 1,000 voices.
All right, now it's time for the freestyle round. Guys, ready for freestyle round?
Freestyle.
All right, guys, time for the freestyle round. You are first, Master Neck guy.
Okay. Well, I'm going to tell you guys something. Please think of the situation. All you want to do is act like we're in this stupid simulation. The truth is that life is like when you have torn pants. You got to be honest with yourself and say, well, what was the chance? Look, I got to make my way somehow because I'm human and I'm not going to let things go. Wow. You know what I'm saying?
Pretty goodness, Nick. I'm saying. All right, Mr. Brand.
I was not programmed to do hip hop. That's not how I was coded in this simulation. So since I won the first 3 rounds, I'll give Mr. Nichols this round. We won me.
Look, Brian is scared. I understand it's true. He doesn't have to feel bad to think that things don't come out of the blue, that they're preordained and they're really predictable. But I got to tell you something. That reasoning is freaking despicable.
Yeah, Mr.
I can see this round.
All right, Mr. Nichols wins freestyle round. Mr. Nichols wins freestyle round. Kicked your ass. Don't forget, you guys, right after this, you can come, if you're a member, and you're going to see our podcast, the end of the podcast. Wendell will be there. He's going to play his word scramble game. And you could join just right down below this. That's the join button. And if you want to go see us live, go to one of these places. Here is my conclusion. I don't think this is a simulation, you guys. This is real. But if this were a simulation, that's what the simulation would have made me say. So now I've just gone against the simulation. That's making me think maybe this is a simulation. Which means I've just changed the whole course of my existence, you guys. So if next week, if I did this, that means it's still me, you guys. If I don't do that, that's not me anymore, you guys. That's some simulation made a different Craig. And don't listen to that person. All right, thanks for joining us this week. Join us next Thursday for another Craig's Conspiracies.